Uh,
So Zia, this was, like a detailed chat. We just wanted to hear your thoughts on a bunch of things. Now we're going to do something more fun. Hopefully, you've never done anything like this in an interview before. Hopefully, okay? So the next round is called the demonstration round. We give you a chance to show us a skill that you're good at. Now, you can't run away from the fact that you've been a trained Bharatanatyam dancer. We know this. You've played the piano. You used to also knit. You've also gone horseback riding. So now, which of these skills would you like to demonstrate today?
None.
What a pity. So then, okay, if not a skill, can you show us something that's very close to your heart? Maybe is that something you're probably comfortable to do?
What am I going to show you? I have a piano downstairs, which I don't play.
Okay.
My husband has horses, which I don't go and see or ride.
Okay.
I don't do Bharatanatyam anymore. I don't have time for knitting or cooking.
But do you still dance?
I'm a complete failure.
Do you still dance though? Does that, like, what can get
I
you?
dance at the firm retreats to give everybody a laugh.
Okay, fair. So I think Ria, you are in a position to share some pictures, which are actually pictures of your dogs, with your dogs, because you're big pet people, as I understand.
Mm.
So tell us a little bit about the pets, the dogs that you live with.
Ragni, stop it. So my husband is more the dog lover, but I love dogs too. And at one stage we had, I think, nearly 20 dogs in various places. In our house, we had 6 Labradors and 1 Jack Russell. And so we've lived with dogs all our life, ever since we got married. I lived with dogs even before I was married. So in this picture, you can see 3 of our labs. Great companions, great de-stressors. And we still have 3 with us. 3 died, unfortunately, but 3 are still with us.
3 still with you. And so when you get home, no matter the time of day or night, are they the first ones to greet you?
No, they are sleeping by then, Tanisha.
Okay, so the doorbell or the clicking of your key doesn't wake them up?
There's no doorbell. I come in, I take the lift, I go up, I make sure I don't wake up my husband.
Okay, fair. And then do you see them off in the morning? Is that your time with them? When do you end up spending your time with them?
Weekends.
Weekends, okay. And they're just like 4 balls for you to just like hold and cuddle when you feel like, I'm guessing.
Well, now they're older, so they're less cuddly. But yeah, when they were pups, they were completely adorable. And, they're just natural de-stressors.
Correct, correct. And they just have so much love to give, right?
Absolutely. And unadulterated.
Correct. Okay, super. All right, so then we know that Zia loves her dogs. What are their names? Do you want to say it? Like, what do you call them?
Well, my favorites who passed on were Neo and Nala.
Okay.
And then we have some nutty names. Uzo, Luca, Vito. My husband loves naming them after Godfather characters. So we got those.
Okay. Super. Thank you for sharing that, Zia. Ria, I think you can stop sharing your screen. We trust everyone could see the pictures. Okay, so that was the demonstration round. Thank you for sharing that. Moving on to the interrogation. Now, Zia, we know you can be really funny. We know you're quick-witted, and we know you have no restraint sometimes when it comes to your humor. I'm truly hoping that you can exhibit that in this round, briefly with me, and then in the second part with this surprise element that's coming in. We'll talk about that shortly. So are you ready for the interrogation, Zia? Will you
better be nice, Tanisha?
I'll be very nice, I promise. I know the repercussions. I don't want a lawsuit from Zia Mody, I promise. Okay, are we ready? Are you ready? Will you be quick? Will you be fast? Will you be your witty self? Will you be your unadulterated self?
Okay.
Super. Okay, so for your first question in the interrogation round, what can instantly put a smile on your face? Like instantly.
And my lawyer comes in and tells me, when AZP lawyer comes in and tells me that after we worked on a deal, the other side came to us for the next deal.
Ooh, nice. Okay. typically lawyers worry about poaching of resources in terms of like lawyers. Zia wants to poach clients. Priorities on point. Very good, very good. Okay, your next question then. Time or money? What is more valuable? And don't say billable hours because time is money. So you can't say that.
Time is precious. Always. Time is precious. Much more than money.
Okay, super. What are your top 3 weaknesses?
Impatience. Getting angry quickly. And you tell me, what is my third, Tanisha? You know better.
I'm not here anymore.
Yeah, I think generally, just not giving enough of time, speak time, if you like, to people where I interrupt sometimes more than I should be listening.
Okay. Super. Takes a lot to admit weaknesses. Thank you for sharing those honestly, Zia. So now, if you want a lawyer, what would you be? No, nothing.
God knows. A debater.
A debater?
Actress.
Actress, I can believe with all those pictures we've seen.
No, not from a looks point of view, just from a role model, role play.
Role plays, fair. Okay, next question. How many hours do you currently sleep, Zia? And how many did you sleep, say, when you were in your 20s or 30s?
I sleep 5 hours a day throughout.
Throughout, never an 8-hour sleep cycle ever? Weekend. That's it.
Well, it's getting better now because of this wretched corona. But no, normally I get about 6. Well, no, 5 maybe. About 6, between 6 and 7.
Okay.
On a good day.
Slowly increasing the number. Is it just so that it sounds better, or do you truly manage 7 sometimes?
I don't want anybody to think that I'm sleep deprived, and so I give bad advice, right?
Fair. No, but so how much did you think you slept maybe when you were in your 20s or 30s? Did you get more sleep back then?
No, not really. Because when I was a junior, I used to, and there were no computers to look up case law, right?
Right.
It was physical. And so I put in a lot of hard work at that time. As I told you, for a combination of not wanting to be called out as a woman, not wanting to be called out because I hadn't really done Indian law.
Correct.
And so I put in a lot of intensive time, but for different reasons, just to basically become a good lawyer at the bar. Correct. And now the time is differently spent. It's on judgment scores, fighting fires, counseling clients, firefighting for the clients, firefighting within the firm on issues, opinions, etc.
True. Do you ever take like an afternoon nap during a work day? Like just close your eyes?
No, God, never.
Never?
Never.
Oh, you've got some excellent DNA there then. Lots to thank your parents and forefathers for.
It's called Parsi blood.
Always winning, always winning. Okay, my next question is, what is the longest time you've stayed away from your BlackBerry in hours? Like, I'm not going to ask you days, I'm asking hours.
Depends where I am. If I'm on a holiday and I promised my husband, then maybe 7 or 8 hours.
Okay, and on a regular, say, weekend at home, what's the longest you stay away?
I don't stay away.
You never stay away?
Why should I?
Fair. Okay. How many emails do you read and reply to on an average each day?
300-400.
300-400 emails a day?
I read them and then I reply to maybe, I don't know how many I reply to. Forward, push, pull, combine, talk, collaborate, connect.
Wow.
Some are junk, some are nonsense, delete.
But there is not a single email that hits your inbox that misses your eye. Would that be right?
Sometimes it does, but that's where my EA, Sharda, makes sure that she catches the slack. And so if I miss anything, I missed anything, she brings it to my attention in a very quiet manner, saying, "Have you read this?"
Super. Okay. Now, you are a bit of a celebrity in the legal world, let's admit it, right? So, please share a moment where you were treated like one and didn't know how to respond. I've seen you, I've witnessed it live, so you can't say there's been no such moment.
You got me, Tanisha. I mean, what is celebrity? I think it's just peer recognition. I don't think I've been celebrated and I missed the trick, or was not celebrated and missed the trick.
No, I've seen you in one moment. So, I'm talking embarrassing moments, okay, Zia? I'll share one on your behalf. Yeah. We were recently at a award ceremony where you came in with your mom and you were being awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award by this international publication. And there was somebody who runs, I don't want to get into what, but ancillary legal business, okay? And this person was physically pulling you, okay, and prodding you and pushing you to take a picture. And we could see that you were getting mighty irritated, but you just had to kind of, how the celebrities have to do it. Like a Deepika Padukone has to just smile because, she has to humor all her fans. So it was one of those moments for you. So do you have any moment like that comes to your mind? I've shared one on your behalf, taken the liberty, sorry. So tell us a moment like that.
No, Tanisha, there's nothing like that. If I was irritated, I would have been just, a nice patient 63-year-old at that day.
You were very patient. You were adorably patient. Okay, cool. So then I guess I answered that on your behalf without your permission. Okay. My next question is EQ or IQ? Which is more important according to you?
So it depends for what, right? If you are a junior lawyer, IQ is critical. As you morph into a more senior lawyer, you can't be a good lawyer without the EQ. I think the EQ allows you to put a coat of reality checks and practicality on the IQ that you have. The EQ allows you to read a room better and transact better, to gauge your opponent better, to deal with him or her better, to stand down easily, to not pick a fight for the sake of picking a fight. EQ allows ego to not rule if you're smart. So, I don't think that a really good lawyer, as they develop, can manage without both. If you have only EQ, that's of course fantastic. But if you are abrasive, you can't read the room, your point has to be the right point because you're so bright and everybody else is dumb, and there's an intellectual arrogance that creeps into your thinking, then that's not good, right? So if you ask me today, at this age or any managing partner, they should have maybe 60% EQ and 40% IQ. Because IQ is a given, right? You're not going to be a good lawyer if you're dumb.
True. Thank you. That's a good distinction there and combination as well. Now we're going to make it a little more personal. So, Zia, you can pretty much lay your hands on anything you want, right? You just have to set your mind to it and the world is your oyster. But the one thing that kind of stands out about you consistently is your simplicity. Like the pearls that you wear, which you're wearing today as well. We love them. They're your trademark, right? We don't see you do the flashy diamonds or the very well-known brands all the time or eating exquisite food. That's just not you. There's a lot of humility intact. I'm very curious to understand how do you manage that? You're so simple in your ways of being. Very basic, if I may use the word. So I really want you to talk about that, please.
So I don't think I have these humble qualities. I think it's just no time, right? So why do I wear pearls? Because in my purse, I have a little pouch where I have different pearls and I carry them in my purse. And anytime I have to walk into a meeting, I put on one set of pearls. It's easy, no time. Do I like jewelry? I love jewelry. Would I ask my husband to buy me big diamonds every day? I would. But where's the time to keep changing stuff all the time? There isn't. So I think you can boil down to that. In terms of food, again, it's time. There's not much time to eat lunch. So there's no point to ordering from glitzy places where by the time it comes onto your table, you've got an urgent phone call and the damn thing goes cold. And I love, diet food like puri bhaji and stuff like that. So I think just a quick bite, too many quick bites, as my daughters say, during the day. And it's not that I don't like good food. I love a wasabi. I love so many other restaurants that I enjoy going to. But when there's time for a 2-hour meal or a 1.5-hour meal with the kids or with friends or with youngsters or juniors.
Understood. So it kind of boils down to time for you at many levels. Followed. Okay. Speaking of food, we know that you love your idli vada sambar, your pizza, and your Chinese. Now tell us your favorite places to order these from. Idli, pizza, and Chinese.
I think idli Soma orders from Purnima.
Okay.
Across the street. I think Chinese food, I think Sharda gets to China Garden most of the time.
Okay.
And pizza, my faithful Avinash orders from, God knows, 2-3 places which he knows I like. So he rotates them. So when I want a pizza, one day he gets it from one day he gets it from another. So all these are, sort of standardized pairs for me.
Sure. And you have a long-standing relationship with cold pizza anyway, right? Because Chambers of Zia Mody and the 12 members back there essentially survived on cold pizzas, is what you've said in the past.
Totally.
So that stays on.
Absolutely.
Okay, super. So tell us, Zia Mody now in her 60s or Zia Mody in her 30s? Which one do you prefer?
Probably Zia Mody in her 70s,
Okay.
But I'll become mellower.
You're going to become...
ease out a bit. I don't know. I think it's different values, different sense of achievement at different phases. Actually, when I was 30, I was, junior counsel with 2 years at the bar. Nothing much to show for. But a lot of fire in the belly, a lot of ambition to show that I could make myself count and, not just be another person in the background. So a lot more passion to prove at that time. Today, I think a passion to want to continue the path of excellence for the firm as an institution, to feel happy that the next rung of leadership we have is, totally part of the AZB DNA, as I call it. And to sort of look back and see what more one can do. And as far as the path forward is concerned, I think how to just keep upping yourself a notch all the time at an institutional level. And for me personally, not to want to lose my skill sets.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that honestly. Moving on, one very important part of, Zia Mody and working with her is the parchees. We all know the parchees, the little tiny notes that you will make and write to everybody, personalize it with our names on top and all of that, right? But there are just so many people you work with and there are so many parchees. How do you effectively manage these parchees and maintain them physically? Because the one thing to notice, you always know what you've sent to whom and when you've sent it. So there is no saying to Zia, oh, I didn't receive it. There is no option to say that because you know exactly on which date what was sent to whom. So tell us how you manage this. What is the system behind it?
My parchee system has become less effective. But what I do is I don't challenge my memory. And so because I have so many things in my mind, whenever there is a pending item which I need to follow up on, I just write it on several small pieces of paper. And then as they get done, I scratch them out. And when there are too many scratches on one page, then I make a new parchi, which has all the other pending items from all the other parchis. Sometimes I don't get around to them, and they're so old that, time takes the consequence of that. But most times, so I think the everybody reminds themselves in different ways. And I think that there is no point testing your memory on things you don't need to test them on. And that's how my note making on my parchis has become a part of a way of life. And I date each parchi. So I know when I put it down and how long I've taken to get to it. And if I've taken too long, I know that I've screwed up and I need to get to it often. So I have my own internal diary, if you like, which everyone laughs at.
Wow, that sounds, but it's a very effective system. It's working for you seamlessly, so everybody can laugh about it. But
that's what I tell them.
Very effective. Yeah.
You keep laughing. You do your own thing.
You keep laughing till you get the next parchi from Zia. Then we'll see who's having the last laugh. Okay, very quickly then, my almost last question. What do you think goes through the mind of the opposing lawyer when they see you enter a negotiation room?
I have no idea. I think there would be different thoughts for different people. Some would say, oh God, here she comes. Some would say, I better get ready better. Some may say, okay, now her client's been so bad, she's going to bash him up in front of me. Some may say, oh boy, I don't know. I think most times they would know that I've come in because there's something that needs resolution. And I think most times, most of the people who I have worked with, my professional peers, would expect me to be fair. They are used to a little agitation from me at times. It's not malignant. But most times we do walk away with a solution simply because if you are willing to both wear hats that are commercial and reasonable, you get a deal.
True. And speaking of, your opponents, I'm going to make this announcement very quickly. Zia's, one of her peers, one of her oldest friends is going to join us shortly to take over the second part of the interrogation, Mr. Rajiv Luthra. But before I invite him, Zia, my last question to you is, who do you recommend to be our next guest on Unsuited? Do you want to suggest a name?
Ask Darius.
Darius Kambata. Okay, super. We will say Zia has asked, so please do the honors. Is that okay?
That's how you got me on this one, right?
you know that Neha used to be a recruiter, right, back in the day. So
Absolutely.
She's this effective mechanism of pipelining. What can we say? Mr. Luthra, please, the stage is all yours. And as promised, we look forward to a lot of banter between you and Zia. So please switch on your camera.
Good evening, all. Good evening, Zia. I'll keep my video off for a while. Because let me quickly tell you, I've been stalking Zia for many, many years. And there was a matter we were doing together and I couldn't find her. Then I discovered she was in New York. I happened to have, and she was living with her daughter. And she doesn't know how I got to this, but I'll tell you the story today, Zia. This is many, many years ago. I rang up the daughter's house and she said, no, Mama has gone out to some Fifth Avenue Starbucks or something. I got the number from 7-Eleven, the 711 or 411, whatever you call, and I called the Starbucks. And the Starbucks, there were no cell phones then. The Starbucks guy picked up the phone. I said, there's a lady who looks like a foreigner, but is probably wearing an Indian dress. Can you spot her? He said, of course, sir. I can spot her. And I said, call her quickly, say it's an emergency. So she came on the line, very befuddled. And I said, hi, Zia. She says, Luthra, how do you know I'm here, huh? How do you know? How did you find me? I go, Zia, just look behind you, there's a camera. Hi, Zia, and hi all. So this is very quick. This is much quicker. Tanisha is an absolute scaredy pook. She's asked me to ask all the tough questions because I'm about 1,100 kilometers away. I'm in Delhi. And I also have a shield in case, Zia, you get painful. So I'll wear that. But quickly,
Rajiv, where will you go ultimately?
hopefully, and this is the one reason I don't want this corona to continue. Hopefully it will. And you'll be in lockdown. But
You will
on that
eventually
note,
come to Peninsula Park, I think, Zia, at this rate.
Tanisha, don't interrupt two good-looking people. You can eavesdrop.
I'm going to go. Zia,
Zia.
I'll put the camera off. I hope you enjoy yourself with Mr. Rajiv Luthra. See you.
Zia, so for my first fire,
Huh?
you've been referred often by your youngsters, by even your daughters, lots of times by your husband, number of people in your firm, number of your clients as a charming dictator. I don't know, benevolent or satiated, we'll talk about that. And by some, they say you're a control freak. I'm aware of some of that. If we took control away from you for 24 hours, what would you do?
I'd go to sleep.
So that's how we can increase that 5 hours to a little bit more. Okay.
Correct.
Zia, when do you feel satisfied? You did mention about getting your opposing client referring you work. That's a smile. But when do you feel satisfied?
A good day, generally, no tension, no fires.
No,
some
that's
good
not
point
possible.
of law,
No
some good
tension.
debates,
No
having
tension.
good family settlement, arriving at, a nice conclusion to what could have otherwise been a bad fight, stuff like that.
That's nice. Now, Zia, since we are all living in this lockdown situation, God forbid your doctor brother walked into the house and said, Zia, you have to go into quarantine. And you, madam, are allowed to choose 3 lawyers to quarantine with you. Who would you choose?
Rajiv Luthra. Then, and whoever Rajiv Luthra wants to bring with him.
Have you guys noticed that she's going to make me suffer even in quarantine?
Exactly.
That's how special she is.
Exactly.
Zia, who are the 2 women and 1 man that you attribute your success to?
2 women. 2 women is easy. My mother and my mother-in-law, for different reasons.
Got it.
1 man, only 1 man, my husband.
Oh, we'd love to hear that. I did call him about 40 minutes ago, by the way.
It's on YouTube, no, so he'll hear it.
No, I did call him 40 minutes ago to give me some info. He's a rat. Didn't speak up at all. Now, we've heard about your horseback riding. You mentioned it, this, that. You mean to say, and piano and Bharatnatyam, you mean to say you have no hobbies now? 0? Apart from bullying managing partners of other law firms? Any other hobbies?
Bit of reading, Raji, but really, even the reading, if I get time, are my Bahai writings, on which I'm so behind. Reading articles on management, I don't know if that's a hobby. Hobby really is traveling. And that's not a hobby, it's just that it's a way to get away, spend a week at the most, maybe a long weekend, just catch up with the family. Maybe we don't even go to new places now. We just go back to the same places that we are familiar with and we like. If you ask me, my R&R is quick getaways.
What have you missed most during this lockdown?
Paper and people.
Do you play poker?
Not at all.
No cards?
No cards. I play a good game of rummy. Haven't played it for years.
And no gambling?
No gambling. Baha'is can't gamble.
Oh, they can't gamble. Sorry. Zia, if you woke up and you found you were in the armed forces, what position would you take? and you were allowed to choose any position, what would you do?
Depends on which position you had in the army, Rajiv. It would be on top of you.
I'll be the chief, Zia.
And I'll be the
And there's
field
nothing
marshal.
on top. There's nothing on
Field
top of
marshal.
the
Field marshal.
Okay. Can't fight with you on that one. Okay, I'm trying to bring this to an end. Zia, what's your next mountain?
Time.
Next
For
mountain.
Mountain to climb. Time to do things I want for myself.
So what would that be that you want to do for yourself?
Be more of a family person. Do more Baha'i activities.
So your next mountain is more Baha'i activities and be a more family person.
Get my balance sheet ready for...
Now, do you realize by saying being a more family person, and this is on YouTube, can you imagine what's going through your husband and your daughters? Because you'll be more on their head than now.
That's what happened when I threatened to take a sabbatical 15 years ago. The person who was most worried was my mother-in-law, because she just couldn't handle the fact that I would be 27 at home. But I think that now both my husband and my children wouldn't mind seeing a little more of me. Maybe not 100% doses, but certainly more than what they get of me now. I think what the lockdown has done is been great, because my husband and I are here 24/7, which has never been there before. My one daughter, Aditi, is with us 24/7. So that's been a great, outcome. But let's see, travel more together, be more together, be more with the grandkids, stuff like that. Very basic stuff, nothing exciting, Raji.
Zia, I've known you for a little over 35 years, and I've seen you climb many mountains. And every mountain you've climbed, I've witnessed, and you've left that mountain breathless. May the next mountain also you climb, madam, you leave it breathless too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zia. You're a sport. And I'm glad to see you continue to remain a wonderful one. God bless you. Be safe. Thank you, IDEX, for this opportunity. Normally, I wouldn't have dared ask her some of these questions, but it was Tanisha who was hiding in Mumbai, made me do that. Stay safe and well, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening and dream of Zia.
Thank you, Mr. Luthra, for doing this. Thank you, Zia, for coming on, spending the time, honoring our request. It means a lot. And it's always lovely to chat with you about all things non-work.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody.